Hi guys, Sarah Diligence here. Oh my gosh, it has been a while. And I'm so, first of all, I'm so grateful. So grateful for every single one of you that have continued to watch my videos that I have already uploaded regarding my VBAC after C-section. I'm also so grateful for every single one of you that have messaged me and said, Sarah, come on, you've had baby now, let's hear the testimony, let's hear the update on the VBAC. So I just want to say thank you to every single one of you that have encouraged me, because as you know, having a baby keeps you busy. I don't just have a baby, I homeschool 3 of my other children, and you know, life, ministry, just being a mother, being about my business and everything like that. It's so challenging for me to just find the time to record. Let's get into it. Okay, I had baby on the 6th of November 2022. He was born I think about 10:22 in the morning, and right up until then pregnancy was fine, pregnancy was great, had no issues, no complications whatsoever. However, every time I went to the doctors, every time I went to antenatal, excuse me, they would always say, oh, you have to see the consultant has to sign you off. And I'm thinking, sign me off for what? Like, it's not like I'm here, you know, doing this for the first time. However, we have moved house, so I was no longer in the Whittington where I had my 2 previous VBACs. I'm in a new area, they've never seen me before, and again, when I asked, they said yeah, they've had women who have had VBACs after 1 C-section, and I think I spoke to a midwife and she was like, not at this hospital but at the previous hospital where she used to work at, they've had women that have had VBACs after 2. But this particular hospital, they hadn't had mums that have had VBACs after 2 C-sections. So for them, I could understand why they would be a bit skeptical and be a bit on edge, you know, so it's absolutely fine. However, you know, like I say to women all the time, if you're gonna go for a VBAC, you have to let them know that you are confident about your decision and you're sure about what it is that you want to do. Because a lot of the times when they start talking, believe me, they can throw you off, and I mean throw you off completely, you know, especially when they start talking about things like, yeah, you need to see the consultant, they're not sure, it's still high risk, then they now start putting your age to things, and you know, they start saying all sorts. So I turned 40 while I was still pregnant. I turned 40 in August, so I would have been in the 40+ brackets by the time I had my little one. But then again, for me, you know, age, this is just me, I'm not sure about everybody else, but I don't think age really is a major factor when you're having a baby, because every woman is different, every individual is different. Someone who's over 40 can handle pregnancy so much better than someone who's in their 20s, even in their 30s. You know, so for me, that didn't really scare me or really push me off. I had a lot, every time I saw them, they were like, oh, gee, you know, we recommend you take blood thinning injections. I'm like, blood thinning injections for what? Oh, clotting, this and that. And then once they start saying all these things, automatically you're like, okay, then they make you start thinking about things, they make you start doubting yourself. But all that aside, anyway, I was like, no thank you. First of all, I was like, okay, I was like, no thank you. Then next appointment, blood thinning. It got to a point where I was like, okay, let me think about this, let me go back to my husband, let me take the leaflet, read up about it. But then the thing is, me personally, I don't like taking injections, foreign things, pills, all that kind of stuff, medication. I'm not really a big fan. So if they're going to recommend something for me during pregnancy, I'm even more skeptical, because I'm carrying a child, and they say, oh, it won't harm the baby, all that kind of stuff. But then for me, I'm like, okay, if I take that thinning injection, will this complicate my situation? And this is the thing, when you're going for a VBAC, I always say it's best you have the least intervention as possible, especially when you're pregnant and you're getting closer to the time, because they can give you anything and that can just interrupt your process. So with me, I'm like, you know what, I don't want to take anything. My husband and I are more than happy to reject things that they put forward. Again, it's still your choice. So, you know, but then every time they said, oh, you have to see the consultant. I didn't see the consultant. I saw another doctor and another doctor and another doctor. And I'm thinking to myself, are they trying to get it to the point where when it's almost time for me to have the baby, that they say, oh, you didn't see a consultant, so we haven't been able to sign you off? Anyway, I was like, you know what, if I don't see a consultant on my next visit, forget it. I don't want to see a consultant, forget it. I'm not going to be bothered about being signed off. I'm having my feedback at the end of the day. I have it at home, I have it in hospital, you pick. So I had to be quite firm with them on that. So I think it was on my, I think I was like 38 weeks when I saw the consultant, like finally. I mean, I've been going to hospital since what, I was 12 weeks or 11 weeks, and I'm just seeing a consultant at 37 weeks. So it really did kind of feel like they were sort of trying to avoid seeing me. However, every time I'd sit down with one of the doctors, they'd say the same thing, they'd repeat the same thing, they'd look at you like, oh my gosh, you're really healthy, you're really, you know, you don't look your age, oh my gosh, baby number 5, wow, how are you doing it, blah 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 blah. At the end of the day, all glory to God. So for me, those are some of the challenges that I found with this particular pregnancy. Again, because of my experience and because of where I stand with VBACs, I am really like, look, I know this is your profession, however, I'm happy with my decision and I'm quite experienced in this area, so I think you should be confident that I am happy with my decision. You know, so that was that for me, that was important. It was so important for me to just really let them know, because again, it's a new hospital, 3 VBACs, I'm attempting a 3rd VBAC after 3 C-sections, you know, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, is she being serious? But you know, all glory to God. And at the end of the day, I decided to still have a VBAC, because for me, a C-section should only be an option of serious emergency. You know, for me, I'm not an advocate of C-sections at all. I have experienced C-sections, as you know, 3 times, and it's not an option that I would ever opt for. It would only be something that for me would be the last resort. Like, it would have to be, you know, one of those situations where I have no choice and I have no other options, and it's not due to the fact that it would have to just be an emergency, you know. So that's why I opted for another VBAC. For me, I would always try a vaginal delivery before anything else, and I advise that for you as well. Honestly, if you've had a C-section, I kid you not, it doesn't matter if you've had 1, 2, 3, 4 C-sections, I think it's always advisable to at least try to have a vaginal birth before you allow them to cut you open again, especially if you're not opting for a C-section straight away. That's not part of your birth plan. So many women, part of their birth plan is to opt for a C-section, but a lot of us, that is not part of our birth plan. It's something that ends up being an emergency, and a lot of the times you find that it's an emergency that could have still been avoided if they gave it time, if it was dealt with properly and on time. So you know, for me, it's 100% not part of my birth plan. But whew, labor was very, very interesting. I actually didn't even I was actually contracting on Saturday night, early hours of Sunday morning, and I literally just started I packed my bag about 2 o'clock in the morning. The contractions started to get a bit intense. I said to my husband, "Hon, you better get some rest, because I think baby's gonna be here tomorrow or later on today, sorry." And he was like, okay, cool. He jumped in bed, he started sleeping, and I literally slept through my contractions. They were coming strong. I'd wake up and when it go, I'd go back to sleep, because it's like, because I had my baby shower on the Friday, not on the Saturday, excuse me. No, I had my baby shower the week before, Sunday the week before, and then I took my in-laws out on the Saturday. My in-laws and my daughters, I took them out on the Saturday to say thank you, you know, for organising the baby shower and everything. And I said to my sister-in-law, I said, look, I don't want to get to hospital till I'm 7 centimeters dilated, because I know when I'm 7 centimeters dilated, you just have to work with me. There's no rushing me off to emergency C-section tables. There's none of that stuff. I'm having this baby, 7 centimeters, we've got 3 centimeters to go. How long is that really going to take, you know? So that was my attitude. So I was like, yeah, I said to her, look, I want to get to hospital when I'm 7 centimeters. And she was like, yeah, that'd be good, that's a good idea, blah blah blah. So I was like, okay, cool, not knowing how I was actually going to deal with that, but you know. So that was the Saturday. So the Sunday evening, yeah, because I had him on the Sunday, mixing up my days now. Anyway, so on the 5th, let's do it like that. On the 5th, on the 5th, you know, everything was cool. Wasn't contracting much or whatever. Then on the 6th, early hours in the morning, I felt like, okay, I'm starting to have contractions. I was up and down, going toilet, up and down, up and down, up and down through the night. And then the contractions were coming on. You know, they were intense, but it wasn't anything that I felt like I had to rush to hospital for. And again, remember, I'm like 7 centimeters dilated. Dilation, that's what I want to achieve. So, you know, I got my timer out, get in bed. And when I'd get a contraction, I'd click it. It was like 45 minutes apart. They were coming and I'd sleep for 45 minutes, wake up, sleep for 45 minutes, wake up. Then it started getting down to like 30 minutes, sleep for 30 minutes, wake up. And I literally was just sleeping through my contractions, you know. And again, and this is what I tell women all the time, they make us feel that we can't handle it. They make us feel like it's not something that we can handle. However, if you know yourself and you're sure and you're confident, you know, with your pregnancy, you're confident with what it is that you're doing, you're confident with you know, your plan, then you are able to manage the process better. You're not going to get anxious, you're not going to run in, you're not going to call them up in fear, you're not going to, you know, scramble the whole process just because, oh my gosh, I'm contracting, oh, I've got to get to hospital. No. And again, you know, with VBACs, you really have to know and be sure that it is something you want to do, because believe me, if you're not in that space of surety, you start getting contractions and you feel a little pain in your previous scar, you could start panicking. You know, you can start panicking. However, I always say that it's always good to really check and make sure that that scar is fully healed and there's no pain there. When you press down, when you cough, when you sneeze, when you do particular exercises, you don't feel any strain there, because then that obviously is signs that you are fully healed. So yeah, so we get to about 7:30 and I say to my husband, hun, I wake up and I'm like, I think it's time to go. So 8 o'clock, we you know, I grab all the bags, he wakes up and the children wake up and I'm like, okay, Mummy's going to hospital. And by now I can barely go down the stairs, I can barely walk. I have to wait for a contraction to stop before I continue. That's how intense they were. And by the time it was 8 o'clock, so called the hospital and I told them, look, the contractions, they're like 7 minutes apart now. So they were like, yeah, okay, cool, come in. So I went in, got there, and they checked me. They were like, okay, you know, they settled me down and they were, okay, Mum, we're gonna check you now. When the midwife checked, she was like, oh, she was like, Sarah. I was like, yeah. She was like, you're 7 centimeters. I was like, really? I was like, oh, that's fantastic. So she was like, oh my gosh, you're gonna have this baby anytime soon. I was like, that's the whole idea, you know. So I was so grateful to God that he answered my prayer. And I was exactly, I kid you not, exactly 7 centimeters when I got to hospital, which was such a blessing and such a relief for both myself and my husband, because we knew that by the time of 7 centimeters, maybe an hour, 2 hours max, baby would be here. So that was fantastic. So went through the routine. They made me get a cannula in, which I really didn't want, but they were like, you kind of have to, just in case of any emergencies. So I was like, you know what, I'm not going to stress them. I'm not here to be to bully anybody or to be a pain. So I was like, okay, fine. Although I said, oh, did I have to have it? And they were like, yeah, sorry, you do, just in case of any emergencies, you need to have it. I was like, all right, fine, no problem. So got the cannula in, soldiered it, hate the thing, but soldiered it, firmed it, got it done, and then they moved me to delivery suite. And literally, I was, you know, for me, it felt like the whole labour was, the midwives were there, but they really just left me to it. They left me to enjoy the process. They left me to figure it out, what it is that I wanted to do. They could tell that I was really strong, really sure. They could tell that I was confident about birthing and everything. So they really just kind of like stepped back, and they were present, you know, present when I needed them. But you know, they just really kind of let me have my way on that day. So was contracting, and then it got to about 11. It got to about 11. I was fully dilated, and I gave birth to him after, I think it was like 2 or 3 pushes. Literally, it was like, it was so quick. The midwife basically said from the time that I started, from the time that I was 10 centimeters to when he was born was 12 minutes, so which was really good. And from the head crowning to the whole body coming out was like another 2 minutes. So that was, I mean, labor was just how I prayed for it. I prayed for a smooth, quick, efficient labor. I also prayed for good midwives, and the midwives were absolutely brilliant, constantly encouraging me. You know, they were like, Sarah, look, don't worry, we're here if you need us, but you've got this, you know, you've really got this. Just, you know, take your time. And again, I just really want to encourage every mother out there who wants to attempt a VBAC, or who's attempting a VBAC, or you've had a VBAC and, you know, you want to go again. Just be confident. You need to have confidence when birthing. You can't be a hot mess. You can't be a wreck. You can't be, you know, showing them that, you know, you don't have control over the situation. Again, you know, I had my worship music on. I created the atmosphere. Well, we created the atmosphere. My husband was absolutely amazing, so supportive. And then and as well, I really wanted to do this video with my husband because I really wanted him to talk to fathers and talk to husbands and talk to partners out there that are supporting mums that are attempting VBACs. Because, and you know what, I probably will have him come on another video and just really speak to the men, because so many of you out there, your husbands are not sure, your partners or whoever your birthing partners may be, you know, they're not confident about you having a VBAC. But I really feel like it would be good to hear it from a male's perspective. Baby's sleeping, hopefully he doesn't wake up and interrupt my video. But yeah, so, you know, like I said, I will have him come on and we'll have a chat, we'll have a discussion about VBAC from a man's perspective. And I really feel that's important, to have it heard from a father who has to support his wife in that area, you know, because for me it's just really important. You know, there weren't any stumbling blocks with this one, and I just want to give God all the glory, all the praise for a successful VBAC delivery. You know, like I said, I exercised as much as I could. I walked a lot, ladies, believe me, I walked almost every day. Practically every day. I used my pregnancy ball a lot. When I was about 35 plus weeks, I started using that pregnancy ball every day, just working the hip area and moving and opening up the pelvis. I still do research every time I'm pregnant, regardless, because things are changing. So I did a lot of research and just making sure that I was up to date with things. I took my vitamins, especially my vitamin D. You guys know I'm an advocate for vitamin D. I take my vitamin D, I take my supplements, and I drank lots of water. I'm still drinking water. I drank so much water during my pregnancy, I kid you not. And I'm so used to drinking water now that even after the pregnancy, And again, being a breastfeeding mum, I drink a lot of water. I mean liters, like 2 to 4 liters a day minimum. So yeah, and just keeping myself prayed up. I kept myself prayed up. I kept myself in faith. And I just knew in my heart of hearts that this pregnancy would go well, would go smoothly. So again, you know, if you are attempting a VBAC, these are all the things that you have to continue to do. You have to continue to make sure that you're prayed up, that you have your faith right, and you and your husbands, partners are really together on that journey, and you're not separated on that journey. And if you are doing it by yourself, you know, again, you just have to be sure that every time you go to an appointment that you stick to your grounds. Don't let them throw you off when they begin to say things, you know, just reject those things. And again, you just have to continue to understand that you should know your body better than anyone. Anyone, you know, you should know your body better than anyone. So my VBAC, my third VBAC after 3 C-sections, went absolutely amazing. I had no complications, I had no blood loss. You know, the contractions were fine. Baby was a healthy weight at 7.6 ounces. He was a very healthy weight, you know. So yeah, I'm just so grateful to God for everything. And again, just here to continue to just encourage you, you know, to stick to your grounds, be strong, walk in faith, continue to you know exactly what it is you want. I want to thank every single person, every single woman that continues to add their comments to the videos, and I answer every single one. If you need advice, I give it. If you need prayer, I give it. You know, if you just need to just have small talk, we can have that. But I just want to thank every single one of you that continues to just pour in and pour your heart in with your desires for VBAC. And believe me, it is possible for you to have that VBAC. You just have to know in your heart of hearts that that is something that you want, and stick to it, and don't let no one throw you off, you know, and have your mind set on it. Again, you know, I always say leave room for if there is an emergency. Don't be heartbroken, don't be, you know, don't be so sad about it, because at the end of the day, the most important thing is that you and baby are safe and healthy, and you get home in one piece. All right, so I just want to say again a massive thank you to every single person that continues to subscribe. And you know what, I just love the encouragement, because I need it, ladies. I need the encouragement, believe me, to make videos, because like I said, just finding time to do it sometimes is really challenging and can be difficult. But I will continue to do my best to upload videos this year, and just continue to just be a blessing to each and every single one of you. So on that note, Sarah Diligence here. Thank you, take care, bye.